to another episode of the Media Mania Podcast. I'm your host, as always, the Media Maverick Mike Wood, and tonight we're going to be doing a very special episode. We're going to be sitting down with Taryn Lynae, a survivor of domestic violence, and this episode is very close to my heart.
Yeah. I haven't done many interviews. This is only my second one, so I'm kind of nervous, but we can go on, get into it. What kind of questions you got? Or should I go a little bit into the backstory?
Yeah, I would love to hear the backstory to this.
Okay, so basically what happened was he was all drunk and all hopped up on cocaine, and he was also doing ketamine all at the same time. And he became like belligerent and incoherent. And at first, he was upset about the fact of his brother was killed, and then he wanted to kill himself. And then, in the midst of all that, he accused me of cheating on him, and then he wanted to kill me. So he tried like pinning me down, and I just kept breaking away from him. I don't know what he was going to do to me if he did get me pinned down, but I wasn't letting it happen. And then he tried to choke me with my t-shirt so he wouldn't leave any marks, but I just kept breaking away from him. And we ended up tussling all the way from my bedroom, and we made it into the bathroom where he was trying to take my phone from me and flush it down the toilet while I was on the phone with 911. And then we ended up tussling to the living room. The whole time I had a death grip on my phone. I never once let go of my phone. I stayed on the phone with that 911 operator. Because if he was going to kill me, there was going to be some kind of witness. So eventually I broke free from him again, and I went running out the front door. And when I went running out the front door, that's when the police were there. So it was right on time.
Okay.
But he tried to flee the scene where he tried to get on his motorcycle. So he got charged with a DUI. He also got possession of a handgun while under the influence, and possession of a gun with an order of protection, as another order of protection against him exists. And he also got domestic assault with bodily injury, and driving on revoked license. So fast forward, he bails out a couple of days later for $900. And he's released without a GPS monitor. He then proceeds to violate the order of protection twice, and he is continuously released without a monitor on him. And that's when I went to the media, basically because I wanted people to know that if something happened to me, it was him. And like, yeah, it was a whole lot. And then after the spotlight was on the judge and the DA and I went to the media, they revoked his bond the following Monday. Fast forward, we're down the road again, and he violates the order of protection again, where he tries to speak to me at the courthouse of all the places, as we are there for 2 charges of violating an order of protection. He continues to violate the order of protection at the courthouse itself, showing that he is not willing to comply with any kind of order.
That's crazy. He would try to violate it right there at the courthouse. Like,
yeah,
he would think like he's gonna go get more time added on to his charges for doing that right there at the courthouse.
No, and that's the count that was bound over to the grand jury. So that's not going to be a misdemeanor, probably. He's probably going to get slapped with a felony for that one.
So I don't know if you've seen this or not. I don't know if you've seen this since your situation has happened, but I saw this somewhere. Like, if you call 911 while you're ordering a pizza, one of the things they use for dealing with domestic violence situations on phone calls. Have you seen more about that now since your experience?
No, I've heard nothing about that. I wasn't trying to be sneaky about placing a phone call because at one point he had taken the phone out of my hand and chucked it across the room. And that's when I grabbed the phone and I immediately dialed 911 as soon as he chucked my phone. Because, like, he had me fucked up. He wasn't getting out of my house. He was throwing my belongings, and I'm just not putting up with it. Like, I'm not the one.
Like, I totally understand that. Since this has all happened to you, like, do you now carry some form of protection now, like a taser or a pepper spray or handgun now?
Um, no, not really. I do have a taser, but like I mainly keep that in my bag or my car. Then I've always had that. But I never thought I'd be in a position where I was with my boyfriend alone in my apartment and I needed a weapon. And he was the one with the gun in the circumstance. So I was just fighting a dude with a gun barehanded.
That's crazy. Like, that is crazy. He had a gun and all that too. Like, that could have ended a whole different way, like, if
Yeah.
we hadn't gotten involved.
Yeah. Um, But my smart ass, I'm over here being like, what are you going to do? Shoot me? Because if he was going to kill me, I was going to make him kill me. Like, I think that he wanted to scare me more than anything because he was very intentional about not leaving marks on me. Like, when he was grabbing me like up here at my arms and down here, but he like never like punched me or like slapped me or anything like that. And like he tried to choke me with the shirt so he wouldn't leave a mark because he's done this before. But I do have this thing over here that protects me pretty well.
That's a pretty dog too. That is a pretty dog.
Yeah, thank you. It was his dog. So I stole him.
You stole his dog. You stole his dog too. That's just a cherry. I know we talked about it off camera, but that's still hilarious. In the end, you got
Yeah.
his dog. That is hilarious.
Yeah, because like I was the one who got him fixed. I was the one who got him all his shots. I was the one who like found out he had a corn soy wheat allergy and that's why he was losing so much hair and not putting on weight. Like he neglected this dog. Like he like and you think that a man who like is putting his hands on his woman, he's not going to put his hands on his dog? He's going to put his
Oh,
hands on somebody
mm-hmm.
because that's just how people like him work. Abusers are abusers and they need to direct their anger towards something.
Somebody, they're gonna take it out on someone or some way.
Yeah.
So,
Um
what was the news channel's reaction when you talked to them and you told them everything that was going on, like, and they saw that he just kept violating and the courts weren't really doing anything? What was their reaction to it?
they were actually quite repulsed and they were confused why he was not charged with aggravated assault because he had a gun on him the whole time. Because if he was charged with aggravated assault, then that would have triggered the Debbie and Marie domestic violence law. I don't know if they have a law like that where you're at, but here in Tennessee, the Debbie and Marie domestic violence law, I think it recently took effect like within the past 2 years. If you're charged with a felony assault, you have to be released with an ankle monitor. So,
I know there's another law in Tennessee. I just moved out of Tennessee back in April. I believe this is the law now that if you're a repeat domestic violence offender, you have to go on some kind of registry or something. Now do believe.
yes, sir. But tragically, this wasn't his first time abusing somebody or having the cops called. This is the first time that the charges actually stuck. So,
That is crazy. This is the first time they've stuck. Like,
yeah,
oh,
he's done this before and gotten away with it.
so since your experience, have you like come into contact with other women that have been in similar situations that you've gotten to talk to?
Yeah, I actually made a post on Facebook just kind of like reaching out and providing like domestic violence resources. And I've had a few women come forward and be like, hey, you give me the courage to leave, or hey, that resource did help me. I'm in a better situation now. Or hey, I'm almost to the point to where I can leave, because escaping a domestic violence situation is not always easy because people who are abusive, they don't just abuse one area of your life. They abuse you emotionally, they abuse you financially, they get you to the point to where you're trapped. Like, a dude may say, oh yeah, it's okay for you to stay at home with the kids and I'll go to work, but now the woman, she's left with no vehicle, no money of her own, and she has to depend on this man for everything. And that's how a lot of abusers do trap women, and that's how my dad actually trapped my mom. They had agreed that when me and my brother were younger, she would stay at home with the kids, just because, like, daycare is expensive, and for two kids it made more sense for her to be at home.
Mhm.
But he would just do drugs and he would screw off all the money, and he was very emotionally abusive, and he cheated on her, but like, he never put his hands on her. But he did put hands on me and my brother and other girlfriends, but never my mom. I guess he knew my mom was that bitch.
That that just I can very much relate to that because my dad was the same way with my mom. I actually saw my dad put his hands on my mother, but he was like more than just physically abusive. Like he cut her, he made basically forced her to cut contact with my grandparents. Well, her parents, my grandparents. Like she had no contact from the time I was a kid to the time they divorced. They had really no contact.
Yeah, my dad tried alienating my mom away from her family, and he was successful with other girlfriends, but my mom always like stuck with the family. And my granny is actually who we ended up moving in with when my parents finally separated. I think I was like 8 years old when they finally separated. Um, but it's actually funny because they're still married. They've been separated since I was 8, but I'm 30 now, but they're still legally married.
That's that's crazy that they're still legally married. That's because I guess it's just me. I thought there's some law like if you're separated for more than 7 years, like you're automatically divorced. I thought that was a law for a long time.
Let's see. Google is her
And because I can remember one experience, I can remember this one experience very vividly. It's in my head. I can replay it minute by minute. My dad was making a bottle for my little sister from my mom. She was making a bottle he was making a bottle for my mom to give to my little sister because she was a baby at the time. And I guess he was mad because he had to make the bottle because she had my sister in her arms. So, and she asked him to make a bottle. He comes back to the living room and chucks it at her head, like chucks it, like just like full back arm, chucks it and busts her forehead wide open. Like she's like her whole forehead is like blood, like just
That could
blood.
have literally fucking killed her.
Hmm.
Like, head trauma is one thing, but that's interesting. It says, being separated does not automatically make you divorced, no matter how many years pass. A divorce requires a formal court decree. In Tennessee, separation timeframes only matter if you use specific legal grounds. A 2-year continuous separation can be used as a no-fault ground if you have no minor children, while irreconcilable differences require a 6-month breakdown. So technically, if she really wanted to go get divorced right now, or he did, neither of them would really have to sign off because they've been separated so long and they don't have any minor children. But I think that that's pretty messed up that the state of Tennessee says, here's the children, here's the glue. Like, only to trap people in more situations, because abusers use the kids as pawns as well. Like,
That was very much the case when my mom and dad got divorced. Like my dad he put me and my sister right in the middle of it and try to get us to play a bigger role in the divorce, try to make us pick sides. Like my sister was 3 when my parents divorced. I was 7. I was 7 when they divorced.
yeah, it was kind of the same here. There was no reason for us kids to be in grown folks' business like that. We should have been
No.
left out of it.
And still to this day, like my dad, like I don't mean to stop talking about your story, but this is just to this day, my dad still tries to reach out to me and try to get me to see that he was the one in the right. My mom was the one that left like my mom was the reason we couldn't see him. And it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I cut contact with my father when I was 15. He had punched himself in the face, and he
Mm-hmm.
told the cops that I did it. And I went to juvenile. Um, my mom was in jail at the time, and I got out of juvenile for that domestic the next day. And they gave me the choice to either go back with my dad while my mom was in jail, or go to state's custody. And things were so bad that I chose to go to state's custody instead of going back with my father.
Can you talk about that? What was your experience like being in state's custody? Because I've heard horror stories about some places that are involved with the state.
It was not fun. I was in a level 2 foster home. So basically that's for like the bad kids. It's the step before the group home where the really bad kids
Mm-hmm.
go.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why necessarily I was in a like level 2 home, because like I was doing really good in school. I was on track to graduate early. I didn't even smoke weed at the time, didn't smoke cigarettes, and they put me in a level 2 foster home where I wasn't allowed to have electronics. So I had no cell phone, no laptop. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere but to school and to church. Yeah. It was not a good experience for me. My granny ended up getting me a lawyer and getting me and put like back in my mom's custody when she got out of jail. And we lived with my granny for several years. So
It just sounds like our paths were very similar, because that's what happened. Like when my mom got custody of me and my sister, we went to live with my grandparents, and like my grandparents were a very strong support system for me for the rest of my life. Like, and I can never pay them back for everything they did. So it sounds like we've both come from those same backgrounds. There's a lot of similarities there.
yeah, my granny is my mom's mom, but my grandpa on that side, he passed away when my mom was a kid in a car wreck. So I never knew my grandpa on my granny's side, and my granny never remarried, never had a man after that. She said she was done, and she was done. And then there was my grandma and my grandpa on my dad's side, and my grandma and my grandpa on my dad's side. They did a lot for me, but they acted like the abuse wasn't happening.
Hmm.
And especially my grandma, she's the queen of gaslighting. She would tell you that you're crazy, nothing ever happened, you're making it up. Like, yeah.
That's very messed up. So I have to ask, what is like your support system now? Like, do you have like a group of people that you go to now after your experience that you can go to and like just vent to? Like, do you have like friends, family, a mix of both?
Yeah, I have a little mix of both, but really my mom's like pretty much my only last living relative. So
Okay.
yeah,
I
I
know.
cut off that side of the family completely because it's just very toxic. And my dad is a truly terrible person, and
Hmm.
I want absolutely nothing to do with him. And they'll be like, "Oh, but that's still your dad. Oh, that never happened. Da, 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 da. You should forgive him. He's your dad." No, burn in
That's
hell,
just
Marty.
that's gaslighting. That is gaslighting 101. That is gaslighting.
Yeah.
So, do you still have any contact with any of your abusers, family? Or do they ever try to contact you and try to get you to change your mind or anything like that? Because I've heard stories of that happening with other people.
No, they've pretty much given up on me. Like, I'm the gay cousin, the gay witch cousin, and they're like very Christian, and you know, and
Clutching
they
their
also,
pearls.
yeah, like we're very, very different people. I will say my grandpa, though, God bless that man. My grandpa was the only one who didn't suck, but he passed away a few years ago. But he was a really good man. And like, the gaslighting, my dad learned it somewhere, and he learned it from my grandmother, because there was a guy when he was younger. his real
Mm-hmm.
dad.
Yeah.
And she would tell him that he was crazy. That dude never existed, and it's always been my grandpa, and that just wasn't true. But my
Mm-hmm.
grandpa raised all the kids as his own. But there was another dude at another point in time who was my dad's real father. And like basically he was just gaslighted into believing this all his life.
Mhm. Well, I was also trying to ask, like your view, like your ex who was in jail, that you had your experience with. Like, does any of his family still try to contact you, try to get you to change your mind about like getting him out of jail or anything along those lines?
No, I cussed every single last one of them out.
Okay. Hey, if you're gonna cut them off, that's the way to do it. Honestly, in my opinion, that is the way to do it. You tell them to kick
Yeah.
rocks.
I let him know my last peace of mind, and then I blocked him all. And his mother at one point had threatened me because I had put him in jail. Which I never actually put him in jail. His actions are what put him in jail. I was just the
Hmm.
first person in his life to like make him face the consequences of his actions. His mom and his grandparents in particular, they have a lot of money, so they've bailed him out every single time.
And not this time. Grandparents' money aren't getting them out of trouble this time.
No, he's on no bond, baby. He ain't going nowhere.
So, do you still like? How long after everything happened did you move out of the place y'all were? I know y'all were living together, I believe. Did you stay there long after that, or did you like immediately move out of that area?
I stayed there for a while, like I think like 8 more months, because I didn't want him to have the satisfaction of knowing that he ran me out of my home.
Okay. Like,
So,
what was that like? What was your experience like moving out? Like, how did you feel the day you moved out of there? How did you feel moving out of there?
I was honestly sad because I was living in that apartment alone, and I moved into a really bad situation with 2 shitty roommates where I only lived for a month because um things were that bad. So, yeah, I would have much rather continued to live alone than be in the situation that I was in, and now I'm currently living with my mother. So yeah, it is what it
Okay.
is, but it's not too bad. I'm moving into my own place again by myself next month, so it'll all be back to normal in a different city. Um Kind of don't want to exactly tell anyone where I am.
I, I totally understand. I would not make you say that on air. That is your business and yours alone. But I totally get you
Yeah.
wanting to move somewhere and just like be incognito. Like you want a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah,
Can
and
I at
it's
least ask?
crazy.
Can I can I at least ask? Are you staying in Tennessee, or are you like planning to just move out of Tennessee altogether?
I'm staying in Tennessee. I think that I'll probably stay in Tennessee my whole life. I'm
Okay,
just a southerner. Like
I get
I've
it.
lived in Tennessee my whole life. I can't really imagine being anywhere else. Like at least like I got to stay within a 2-hour radius of Nashville. That's where all the concerts are.
I get it. As a former Tennessean, I totally get it. But I was pushed out. I was priced out of Tennessee. I got priced out. I couldn't do it no more. Like the
That's what
prices got
happened
too
with the
outrageous.
apartment. I couldn't afford it by myself anymore. He was on disability and he was only getting $600 a month, but I made him give me that full $600 every month and put it towards bills because if it didn't go towards bills, it was going up his nose.
That is so messed up.
Yeah.
That is just so. Does the news plan to do any more coverage of your story, or is that just what you've done? Is that it for now?
No, there's going to be a follow-up segment soon with Fox 17. And we're going to talk about how I feel now that the judge has made a decision. Because actually, I have something that I wanted to share with you. Because I think that it's really important for people to advocate for themselves, and I think that if I didn't advocate for myself as hard as I did, that the outcome would have been this, because literally the DA left this voicemail on my phone and basically told me, like, hey, the judge took what you had to say into consideration, because I wrote the judge and the DA both basically listing out X, Y, and Z, why he should not be out, and that kind of thing. But this is what they said. Let's see.
Uh,
From the DA's office for almost 4.
Can you hear it?
I can hear it a little bit. It's very muffled.
Tucker Smith calling from the DA's office. It is about almost 4:20 on Tuesday. I'm just letting you know that I just heard back from the DA about the motion today, or the hearing today. They did have a hearing, and she submitted a copy of the preliminary hearing where he testified before, and obviously talked to the judge about his record. And so the judge took the hearing under advisement, and so she will make a ruling by August 5th, so next week. Sometimes they'll issue a written order before that day, but mainly I expect for her to make an announcement on August 5th about what her ruling is regarding the bond. So I can definitely get back with you on that day and let you know what she has decided. You can call me back if you have any questions, 615.
Yeah, basically they just took everything that I had to say into consideration, and they did not let him out this time with a bond, because he's proven that he's not willing to comply with the less restrictive measures. Like, he violated that order of protection with me 3 separate times, with one of them being at the courthouse itself. Nothing's going to work. Like,
The judge that you told the news about, that he was like, they just kept letting him out. Did the news ever reach out to that judge about making a comment? And if so, did he make a comment?
I believe that they did reach out, but they're not allowed to make a comment on ongoing cases. So the case isn't closed,
Okay.
so the judge and the DA can't exactly talk about it.
Okay, I didn't know if they just. I guess that's all they could say. I'm looking forward to see what they say after the case is closed. I can't wait to see what their comments are, and I hope the judge sees he finally did, like, he kept him in there. I'm hoping he sees he did the right thing keeping him in there instead of just letting him back out again.
Yeah, it was actually it was Judge Allegra
Oh.
Walker in Davidson County, which, after I did my research, she only has like a 60% conviction rate. The majority of her cases do plead out to probation.
That is crazy that they plead out to probation. That is crazy. Is it? So I have to ask: is it different having a female judge instead of a male judge try this case?
I feel like the fact of both of the judges who worked on this case, I can't remember the other one's name, who we just saw for the third count that's bound over to the grand jury for the violation. They were both women of color. So
Okay.
I feel like, them being a minority as well, like, they were more willing to hear me out than I
Mhm.
think that a male judge would have been, especially if it was like a straight white male judge. Like, I feel like it probably wouldn't have turned out the way that it did. I think that once I pointed out X, Y, and Z, they really took my safety into consideration, because, like I said, I wasn't safe. And one of the arguments that was made by his lawyer, Jeff Woods, was, did he not get his motorcycle and just leave your house? And I was like, I don't care what he did. He wasn't supposed to be at my house, and that's point blank, period. And the judge was just like, side eye, because I wasn't wrong. And then she didn't argue.
Yeah, that argument by his lawyer was null and void. That's null and void.
Yeah.
So
They
what is
literally,
the
they had nothing. They were just grasping on straws with what they could. Like, they asked me, apparently someone had been harassing him didn't have anything to do with me, but they asked me if I knew him on the stand. And then the judge was like, what does she have to do with that? And
Do you know him? Of course, you know him. Like, what question is that? That is like grasping, like you said, it's grasping at straws.
yeah. Yeah, like they asked if I knew the person who was harassing him allegedly. And I said, I plead the fifth. And they were like, you can't plead the fifth right now. And I was like, well, can I object? Because I don't know what to say, because it doesn't have anything to do with this. And then the DA was like, no, but I can objection relevance. And then that was the end of that.
So, what is the max sentence he can get now? Like, what is he looking at possibly facing in prison?
He's looking at 7 to 10 years.
And so, what do you plan to, like, if he gets the max and he does the max amount of time, like, all right, is he going to like be on the registry when he comes out, and when he does get out, do you have any plans to like be further away by that point?
I honestly, I think that after all of this, he will steer very, very clear of me, because, like, his life is pretty much over at this point. With all of these charges and his limited income, he's not going to be able to find a place to live.
Yeah.
He's disabled, can't get a job. So, like, for the rest of his life, he'll either live with his family or be on the streets. And by the time he gets out, I'll be long gone. He won't be able to find me except for maybe on TV.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about that, because I know you want to be an advocate now for other women for that experiences. Like what do you plan to go through to start doing more in that career line?
I do right now. I have a charge that's been dismissed, and it'll go off my record because I didn't do it in 45 to 60 days. And after that charge is gone and off my record, I plan on applying to be a victims advocate here where I live. So that way maybe I can like actually make a difference and do what they do in Nashville, because like in Nashville, they have the Gene Crow Advocacy Center, and they're delightful there. They basically just help victims, and they take you to court, and they offer you counseling, and they work on your case, and all of that fun stuff. So that would be my ideal career line at this point in time. I don't want to go back to working in just like a warehouse or being a server somewhere. Like, now that I've had to actively fight my way through the judicial system and I see how hard they make it on victims, I definitely want to like be the lube that helps them slide through.
I get. So do you want to do like more like do you want to be on commercials advocating stuff?
Oh no, I don't know about no commercials or nothing like that. Maybe I'll do some stand up about it.
Okay, I didn't know if you're like planning to do like commercials, like I see commercials for stuff like that sometimes, like for they're talking about if you need help, there's these resources on the commercials and all that. Or like I know there's like the shelters that the battered women's shelters. I don't know if you plan like to start working with them more, like being an advocate and all that.
Yeah, I reached out in a Facebook group just asking about like little feelers, because I wasn't like quite sure what kind of roles there were for being a victims advocate, and like what you could exactly do to make money and make a living, because a lot of them are volunteer bases, which I'm cool with volunteering, like, but I would really like to do something meaningful with my career, not just volunteer. Like, even if I'm like working at a shelter or answering a domestic violence hotline, anything to make a little bit more of a difference and like, let victims know that they are believed and there are people who are willing to help them get through this process, and it is possible to escape.
Okay. Would you ever like see like possibly working in like a 911 call center, like something? I know you said like a domestic violence hotline. Like, would you ever see yourself possibly working in a 911 hotline setting too? Like, because I know they sometimes get domestic violence like calls on
Yeah.
911 lines.
Um, Probably not exactly dealing with a 911 operator because I'm not the biggest fan of police, despite having to call them. Because there was a lot more in my situation that could have been done on the cops' end. He was not charged with interfering with a 911 phone call. He wasn't charged with aggravated assault when he had a gun.
Hmm.
Those are two more charges that he could have got. And if he would have got that one aggravated assault charge, he would have been slapped with a GPS monitor and he wouldn't have been allowed to violate the order of protection 3 separate times.
Yeah.
So,
And I swear, I hear people say this all the time. I've heard people say, "Oh, that's just a piece of paper. It doesn't mean jack." It's supposed to mean something. That piece of paper is supposed, like, he should like, you should know if I violate this, I'm going to jail. I'm gonna go right back to jail.
yeah, he violated and he was only sent for 10 days for each count of the two
Yeah,
counts that he was convicted on. So he did 20 days for those two counts of violating the order of protection. So thanks, Judge Allegra Walker.
So,
Yeah.
do you? I know you said you're not gonna reveal. I don't, and I'm not. Like, do you plan to stay in Middle Tennessee, or do you plan to move like towards like East Tennessee, or move towards West Tennessee, or like stay in the general area you're already in?
I don't know. I feel like that's later on down the road. Maybe I've thought about Chattanooga. Chattanooga seems
Okay.
nice. Like that would be a nice little area to go to.
It really puts some
But
distance. That would put some distance between everything. That really would.
well, see, he's from New Orleans and all of his family is in New Orleans other than his father. So after he gets out of jail, he'll probably end up back in New Orleans because that's where he ran to begin with when he went on the run for almost 8 months.
That's okay. So now I have to ask, like, how did you meet someone that was originally like, was he in Tennessee when y'all met, or like, how did
No,
y'all
we
come
was
to
in
meet?
Kentucky.
Okay, I would say, how did y'all come to meet in the first place? Like, that's one thing I was wanting to ask. Like, how did y'all actually meet?
We met at a friend's birthday party. And then turned out he only lived like 20 minutes away from me when we were all the way in Kentucky.
Okay, so
Yeah.
y'all were in Kentucky and y'all were located and y'all moved to Tennessee. Okay, that's so it all
Well, I've
started
always
in
been in
Kentucky.
Tennessee. We were just at a friend's birthday party in
Okay,
Kentucky.
okay,
And it just so
okay,
happened to be that like um he had asked for my number and it was like, "Oh shit, we actually only live 20 minutes from each other." And then like we just kind of like hung out one day and never stopped hanging out. First red flag.
okay. So, what is your plans like for the rest of 2026? Like, I know you got your charge that's about to come off. Like, what do you plan to do like right away when that charge falls off?
Go back to work because I'm going crazy. I don't even care where I go at some point. Like, I just need to go somewhere. Like, I don't care if like I got to take a warehouse job for now as
Yeah,
long as I'm back to work because this charge it has held me back from 3 separate opportunities that have been like come back in 45 to 60 days when it's off your record. So, including
yeah.
a job making like $1,000 a week. So,
So you weren't like so you weren't able to work the whole time you had the GPS bracelet on?
nope. I was working at Amazon and then I moved 2 hours away and I tried to get a job out here and literally Waffle House wouldn't even hire me with an ankle monitor on. And I thought you had to know how to fight to work at Waffle House. I thought
I thought so too. Like, I know they hire felons. I know for a fact they do. I know for a fact they hire felons.
well, they said mine was a violent felony, so
See, I've ate at thousands of Waffle Houses in my time. I've seen some of their cooks be tatted from head to toe. I'm like, you're telling me he doesn't have a violent felony? You're lying to me somewhere. Then they're lying somewhere.
I feel like they probably do not actually run a background check because my friend was in jail for a long time and he got an aggravated assault charge, and he ended up being a cook at the Waffle House. I think it was the ankle monitor that gave me away. I don't think they actually run a background check.
Okay. I was gonna say, I thought you were still I like you would think with being an ankle monitor, they would still want you to work, not just be cooped up in your house all the time. I couldn't, but that would drive me nuts.
Well, I had the ankle monitor on, but I was still free to go wherever as long as it wasn't within like 2 football fields of 2 individuals. So,
Okay. So how did how do you like when you have the ankle monitor? Like, how did that like? Is it hard to shower with that thing on? Do you have to cover it up?
no, it can get wet. It's just not submergible. So, like, you can't like take a bath, but you can take a shower. Yeah.
That's crazy. It kind of restrict even when you're at home. It restrict things you can do at home. That's crazy.
Yeah. I will say I'm very glad that I got that tossed out and dismissed because, like I said, I didn't do it. And it was a whole mess to go from being the prosecutor to being the prosecuted
Hmm.
because literally, so 2 people jumped me and I fought them and I whooped both their asses and then I went to jail.
That's self defense. That is self defense in its finest form. You are the one that got jumped, and you're defending yourself. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what judge or lawyer thinks that's not self
That's why
defense.
the
Okay.
charges that's why it was dismissed, thrown out, and it'll be expunged from my record because it was self-defense.
So if you don't mind me asking, I want to ask you. I saw one of your posts, and it just straight up made me laugh. It's something you were posting about after everything that happened with him. Like you were saying, like you're feeling your attraction for men pack their bags. So we're out of here. Like how much did your like dating life change after him?
I honestly I've been like steering clear of really like getting serious with anyone until this trial is over because
Okay.
it's just been a lot on me emotionally and I'm still dealing with it. I just keep making jokes about it. um so
And I've always heard laughter is a good medicine. I've always heard that laughter is a good medicine.
yeah, and it's like if I don't joke about it, I'm gonna cry about it. So
I rather laugh
like
than cry because like I can see you have makeup on it. Like make crying ruins makeup. It ruins makeup.
yeah, it does. Not my makeup though. This shit's waterproof.
That's a good thing. If you're buying good makeup, you expect it to be the best you can get. So I get it.
Yeah. Um, have a visitor for the podcast. This is
Oh, that's a pretty
Kira.
cat.
Yeah. I have 3 cats and the German Shepherd, so it's
Yeah, I had to ask because it's like it that post had me down like damn he messed like he really like she switched up everything after like she's like men can go away like your men can just go away.
men can go away. Dude, literally like pretty much when I think of men, like my coochie gets dry at this point in time. Like I don't want a man to be even breathing in my general vicinity. Like a man speaks to me, I'm like, shut up, you're already lying.
I totally get it. Like I totally get it. There are some asshole men in this world. Like and I swear like I'll say this to my dying breath. Like my wife, I don't deserve her because I swear like she went through so much shit because my wife before she met me, she went through a similar thing. She like her ex abused her, so like I am very protective of her, and I don't deserve her for something like she treats me better than I've ever been treated, and and there's people that talk shit about her like because she had her abuser also locked up, and
As she should.
it just pisses me it pisses me off that people try to just drag her through the mud and treat her like a dog like that. And like I
Yeah.
said, that's why I said this episode is very like when I heard that you were wanting to do a podcast, like I knew like I wanted to be the one that had you on because like it just held a place in my heart.
Yeah. I also did a podcast the other day that I had a lot of fun doing with a girl named Kaylin. It's called Mondays Are a Mother. It'll be out on Monday. So look forward to that. That was fun. And I like going on the podcast more than I like doing the news segments because I feel
Mhm.
like you can go way more into detail on a podcast than you can with a 3-minute news segment, and then they kind of just chop and screw it however they want it.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know,
ask. That was one of the things. I was like, how much of the how long was your actual interview with the news, and how much of it did they actually use on air? That's was one question I was gonna ask.
I'd say about 10 minutes, and they use like maybe like 3 minutes. Yeah.
So there's there's like 7 minutes of just content that they didn't show, like the footage they didn't show of your interview. That
Yeah, pretty much.
that's crazy. That is crazy. Like that is like very messed up.
Yeah, but I kind of get it though because like they have like other stories and so many news slots and so much time for commercial breaks and
But they have
but
a
they
website.
definitely they could have
They
like
have a whole
broke it
website.
down on YouTube.
Like they have a whole they have a website. They post full stuff of it, and that's why I'm surprised they didn't go post it on their website for the news somewhere.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to use a lot more. I also put them in contact with one of his ex-partners and she had a binder full of evidence. A binder. Yeah.
That's crazy. So when he when you were when you were with him and he was putting his hands on, did he ever leave many bruises at all? And if so, did you ever have to cover him up or anything?
He only put his hands on me that one time, and then the bruises ended up showing like a couple days later, like a day or two later, because
Mm-hmm.
he was, like I said, he was very intentional about like not leaving a mark on me. I'm trying to find a picture. I have so much in my camera roll. I need to delete some of this.
I
Oh,
know
that's
I
my
know I
butt.
saw some of them. I saw some of them that you posted on Facebook. But did you have to cover them up for work or did you just let them
No,
show?
I came to work because like I had other stuff that I had to handle, like going um down to the what do you call it? The family center to file for like an
Mm-hmm.
order of protection and stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
literally like held up my arms like this and I told my boss, I said, "Hey, I was assaulted last night and I have some business that I need to handle. Can I go?" And he said, "Yes." He didn't ask me for no more details. He just let me go. But you can
Oh
see
wow, that is I can see.
very clearly a handprint.
Mm-hmm. Like after that, did you ever try to hide them? Cause I've seen videos and interviews of people who have gone through those kind of experiences, and they try to wear long sleeves, or I've seen people wear turtlenecks so that way they don't have the handprint showing around their neck,
Yeah,
or they use makeup.
yeah, there's some pretty gnarly
Yeah,
bruising.
yeah, that's
No, I
crazy.
didn't try to cover it up because it's if someone's gonna be a piece of shit, I'm gonna let it be known. Like, I'm not going to be abused quietly and I'm going down swinging. Like, I just,
I totally
and
get it.
all of his friends are like, "Oh, Peter would never do that." And I'm just like, "Really?" Because I clearly didn't do this shit to myself.
No, why would someone do that to themselves? Like that is very messed up. That no one from not even his friends or no one wanted to stand by your side and say, yeah, he's been known for this. That's just
Oh
that's
no, there
crazy.
were a lot of people who did
Okay.
stand by my side because originally, the first time that it made the news, it made it on a local 615 page because I had posted on Facebook a picture of him because he was on the run and um there was another girl who had contacted me um and she basically let me know he was on his bullshit and um Yeah, there was another victim after me. So,
And you
she
said he was
didn't.
on the run. He was on the run for 8 months after what he did to you.
Yeah. But I posted on Facebook, I said, abusers can only abuse you if you don't make it known. I will continue to be messy and post about every time that Peter violates and every time he gets himself rearrested and keep y'all updated throughout the trial. This man's not going to lay a hand on me knowing that the world is watching him. Anyway, there's a warrant out for Peter Saunier, aka Peter Wildson, for violating an order of protection. If you see him, please call the police. He's considered to be armed and dangerous. And, you know, that post went a little viral, and a local 615 page wrote an article and put his face up there. And shortly after, he decided to come back to Nashville for whatever reason from New Orleans. And I caught wind because of that post that he was in Nashville, that he was walking down Lebanon Pike. And that's near his dad's house. So I called it in, and they went and they picked him up at his dad's house. So, well, actually, my friend also made a phone call because he has friends in Metro, and told them to go find that motherfucker. And I quote, "Go find that motherfucker."
I'm surprised. Did Metro PD not send like any kind of stuff to the New Orleans Police Department to like show that they had someone on the run that was known to be in New Orleans?
Nope. That's why I went to the media, and that's why I did what I did, because the police weren't solving my case. I was solving my case.
That is very messed up on Metro's part. Like, Metro PD really dropped the ball with your case. They really did.
They really did.
And I apologize. I've never had to deal with Metro. I've had to deal with police before, and they always half-ass do a lot of stuff. So I totally get, like, that's just messed up that they dropped the ball, especially on something of that magnitude.
Yeah, like I said, he wasn't charged for aggravated assault, strangulation. He wasn't charged with aggravated assault for having a gun on him. Those are two different things that could have triggered the Debbie Marie domestic violence law and protected me. And, you know, because of their neglect, I was forced to deal with the consequences.
And that's crazy. Like, he had a gun. Like I said it earlier, he had a gun, and they still didn't charge him for that.
Yeah.
He could easily pull the trigger. Like, that could have been that could have had a very darker ending. And that is a fuck up on Metro's part. That is a fuck up. That's not even dropping the ball. That's just a fuck up.
And then the police testified that I never said anything about him trying to choke me on the stand. So when that body cam footage comes out, Metro, I'm coming for you, bitch.
And that's you would think that they would, like, the person prosecuting the case would ask for that body footage. They would ask for it.
Yeah, I submitted a records request, and they wouldn't give me the body cam footage because it's an active, ongoing investigation. So even though I was the victim, they still won't let me view the footage.
Couldn't the DA request it though, like, and have it shown during the trial?
They actually didn't show any of the body cam footage at the hearing, but I imagine that now that it's been turned over to the grand jury will see the body footage. Probably. I hope.
I hope it's shown. I really do. And I really hope they give him the max. I really do. And I'm glad you're free of that situation. I'm glad you're no longer having to deal with that.
Yeah. At least I got a pretty cool dog out of it, and like at least 5 minutes worth of stand-up material.
I remember you sent me that. I'm like, that is very dark, but also has some laughs. And I'm like, that is very dark but laughable at the same time. That is, and I can't wait for you to do that in other places and see more. And I hope you see some more reactions, and I hope like people get more laughs out of it than they do just silence out of it.
Yeah, I got quite a bit of laughs.
I hope no one boos you for taking his dog. That's messed up. They booed you for
that. No, I got
booed
for taking the dog. I was like, I took his dog, And they were like, boo. And it's like, bro, he put his hands on me. Like, and you feel bad because I took his dog. The fuck?
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Taryn, for coming on. I've appreciated getting to hear your story. It's very it is very been heart moving and emotion moving, and I'm glad I could be able to help you share it. And I hope more people watch this and they see your story and they can if they're dealing with something similar, and I hope this could help them.
Yeah, just for anyone watching, if you have me on social media and you are struggling with domestic violence, my inbox is always open. I may take some time to reply, but my inbox is open. I am here to listen, and I can help provide you with resources.
Yeah, and one of the resources, if you scan that QR code in your top left-hand corner, it'll take you right to the National Domestic Violence Hotline website and use some of their resources.
Hell yeah. How
So
convenient.
I want to thank, and I also, it's the color I use, I picked the color very specifically. That is the color for domestic violence awareness too.
The more that you know.
Again, I want to thank you for coming on and just hearing your story and some of the laughs that came out of it, and just like some of the some of the things that went on that some people might not have seen unless they heard it from you or saw your news story. So I appreciate you coming on and telling your story.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I had fun.
I had a blast too, and I hope everyone that watched it, I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait for people that haven't seen it yet to see it. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever seen an episode of the Media Mania Podcast, I'm your host, as always, the Media Maverick Mike Weldon. This has been my awesome guest, Taryn Lynae, and as always, make sure you catch us on the flip side.
All right. Thank you.